Hey, what's up?
What's up? This is Everyone and Their Mom. Go follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
And you can also listen to our podcast at Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and also Anchor. We'll be talking all things co-parenting, blended families, and relationships. Hey guys, have you heard of Anchor by Spotify? If you haven't, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Everything you need all in one place. Anchor has the tools to allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need all in one. And best of all, it's totally free. How great is that? Download your Anchor app and go to anchor.fm and get started. Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm mom.
I'm Jerry-Lynn. I'm the stepmom.
We're talking about relationships today. The green flags and the red flags and...
How fun.
Yep. This is a sticky one.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where it goes, to be honest.
Yeah. We don't even know.
Kind of just winging it.
So we're going to start off with the green flags and give you guys some examples of some of them. So some examples of green flags are self-responsibility. So, like being responsible for their own actions and what they need to do every day.
One I find very, I don't know, it catches my eye is healthy hobbies. It's kind of a subject that I have not really, spoke on to a lot of people, but healthy hobbies, finding someone that does, good things.
Yeah. Jerry-Lynn likes to go plant shopping.
I love that. Love that. If you know me, you know one of my favorite things is definitely plants.
Mine is
so that's
probably
a healthy
just,
hobby?
Nails, but mine are myself. I kind of do it myself. Everything that I do is
That is true.
Yeah.
But it's still a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And then honoring boundaries. So there's, I think that every relationship needs boundaries and stuff, and we'll talk about that later in the episode of what some healthy boundaries are. But, making sure that, the person in your life, friend, family member, person that you're with, is respecting your boundaries.
I also want to add in there communication. That's a huge one.
Yeah, definitely. It's really important to be able to communicate with whoever is in your life and making sure that you guys are on the same page.
We're going to get into that, but there is also another episode that we're going to do on basically communication.
Yeah, strictly communication.
But that is still a huge green flag, so.
Yeah, and a huge red flag if you can't do it.
Yeah, that's
true. Self-sufficiency. So, getting up and doing what they need to do every day. Their priorities, their, I can't think of anything what is self-sufficient. I know what it is when I'm saying what is some good thing, getting up for work and doing what you're supposed to do. What you're supposed to do.
Maintaining yourself,
yeah.
And
that's also, that kind of goes into practicing self-care. That's a good healthy relationship, or that's a good green flag, is that they take care of themselves and shower, brush your teeth, guys.
Also support your personal growth. I don't care if it's small, big, the littlest things.
Yeah. And then it's obviously spiritually is, that doesn't really, that wasn't on a list or whatever, but I'm not really too stuck on that, because that's, your own personal thing. But
I think everybody has their own.
Yeah. And so that kind of that just depends on you and what you feel and stuff. And what is another one? I lost. Make sure that they're, able to self-reflect, and even you, it's also healthy for you to practice these things as well. But, you know, you're able to self-reflect on what you're doing, your actions and stuff like that. And, you know, a good green flag also is being able to empathize with, you know, you, or if it's you're the person, you know, then you need to be able to empathize with the person and understand their feelings and needs and stuff.
I kind of want to pinpoint some of our, you know, real life green flags. And I kind of want to start with healthy hobbies. So like in my past, I've obviously had not so healthy hobbies.
Yeah,
I
no,
enjoyed that.
Me neither.
Yeah, no, drinking was pretty fun to me. I love the going out with my friends and doing those things. And we're going to cover friends, but it just wasn't the healthiest thing. And now plants, it's already been said, but it's a huge healthy hobby of mine. I love that.
Yeah.
I've literally called Morgan up sometimes and I'm like, I'm bored. And then I'm like, we're going to go on an adventure, but don't judge me. And we literally end up going to buy plants.
Going to a plant store.
So that's healthy.
Yeah. The only reason I have a plant that is alive is because of Jerry Lynn in my house.
I also, family time is huge. Growing up, I really didn't have that. Mm-hmm. So that's became like an actual something that I really enjoy. I mean, obviously, like, who wouldn't? But that's huge to me. I love just getting together. I mean, even if it's just sitting on the couch or whatever and just talking, I love it. It makes me feel really good.
Yeah, it makes me feel like at home and stuff like that. I know what you mean. I mean, I used to have I mentioned nails a minute ago, and but other than that, I also used to be like very like active and going to the gym quite regularly. But I've kind of like came to a halt on that for a little bit because of real estate right now. And speaking of that, supporting personal growth is like a huge green flag. And I feel like I have a lot of people in my life right now that like support what I'm doing and, you know, are trying to help me get through this because, you know, this test, oh my God.
It stresses
really hard.
me out.
I'm sorry.
I like stress for her.
Yeah, I don't mean to stress you out. I'm just...
No, it's all in a good way. Not like any bad stress, but I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like ready for you to...
Me too. I feel like I'm breaking. I'm falling apart. But other than that, I mean, yeah, people in your life supporting, you know, you growing and doing better for yourself is really important. And
I guess that takes us into communication.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of falls in like with everything else though. Like I said before, I've never had people in my life that communicates very well. It's always been very
toxic.
Very toxic. So
unhealthy.
Being around those people that actually communicate well, that's huge.
Yeah. And then we can you know, jump right into the red flags now.
Okay, yay.
Let me see. Okay, so for red flags, we have lack of communication. So some of these are going to be alternative to the green flags because, you know, that's just kind of how it works. And lack of communication, meaning, you know, there really isn't little to none communication. That's not good.
I mean, even with myself, I've definitely been in this red flag before. Mm-hmm. I mean, I sucked at communication. Mm-hmm. I am the absolute, I will shut down, not talk. But I've definitely learned to, I guess with being around people that communicate, I've definitely learned to open up and express how you feel because it's the only way you're going to get somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, it's really important. Like, I've never been the person to be, like, in lack of communication, but I've definitely received lack of communication for sure. And it does affect a relationship. It's, like, complete turmoil. But, you know, as far as me, like, I have no problem communicating. I can't shut up, so there's that.
Morgan's actually helped me talk. and get better with that, because she's so literally, like, if you need to talk, Morgan is the person to call.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to, like, toot my own horn with that when I say that, but I just can't, I literally can't, like, I don't know.
Not talking is her, like, she can't do it.
Yeah, I don't know, that's not
But
possible.
that's really good, though.
Yeah. I mean, it can be bad when I'm not letting other people talk. That is, like, something in, like, my relationship. I can't, like, sometimes I don't shut up and I'm like, okay, so it's your turn. So next is disrespecting boundaries, and I'm going to talk about, elaborate on those a little bit, because I think that these are really important, and like in any, relationship, friend, family, or significant other. And types of relationship boundaries that you should be setting are expectations. What blah, blah, blah. All right. Yep.
Run it back.
Okay. What expectations do you have for each other in your relationship, and what roles do you play for the relationship to work? Tolerances, what you will put up with, and where you draw the line. Your sexual boundaries are also really important. What's your comfort area, and where you also draw the line in that. Your financial boundaries, what are your financial obligations and your expectations. Your family boundaries, and where you draw the line in family interaction and interferences. And also kind of the same with your friends, how much interaction between your friends is acceptable. And the next one being lack of trust is really, really important. In every relationship, be honest. It's real sticky when you start lying and stuff like that. And
it's also, I would love to add, it is very much, you can rebuild trust.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, but you can't expect it to just go right back once you break it on
Absolutely
either.
Not.
It doesn't work like that overnight. You've got to, and while rebuilding trust, it doesn't help if you continue to lie, because then you're never going to rebuild the trust ever. It's hard to do it in that form. So, once you recognize it in yourself, I've been the liar, and I've been lied to. And now I'm scared to death to lie. I know that I've broken a lot of relationships and hurt a lot of people with my words and my actions, and I cannot be dishonest, and I feel so guilty if I am.
I think it's huge that people think that once there's no trust there, that it's like you can't fix it.
Yeah.
So people tend to give up, and it is very much fixable. I mean, like you just said, you've been the liar and you've been lied to, as I can very much relate to. I've been the liar and I've been lied to, and I've fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a hard thing to do. Yeah.
It is, and it takes work.
Yeah.
And
especially it's also a habit that you create. You have to create the good habit and to choose to be honest. And if you realize, hey, I just lied again, go to that person and tell them. And it's going to be really hard, but then they're going to start to realize, like, hey, he is trying. And, you may get into some arguments and stuff like that, but that's what starts to build trust. And it
also takes reassurance.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Do you have any that you want to list too?
Red flags? Yeah. I guess we can go with controlling behavior.
Oh yeah, that's important.
I've definitely been in, family, exes. Controlling behavior it will destroy you as a person to begin with.
Yeah.
But also you can't expect anything to work, or I don't even know how to put it. You can't expect anything with controlling.
Mm-hmm.
At least anything good.
Yeah. I've been in that scenario.
I'm actually I'm married now. That sounds so weird to say. But I'm probably in one of the most healthiest relationships I've ever been in.
Mm-hmm.
And I look back and I'm like, I let someone's controlling behavior literally destroy me.
Mm-hmm. And hold you back from...
Held me back from so much.
Yeah.
And now, like, I realize, like, you don't have to be that way. Mm-hmm. And, like, going off of somebody else's controlling behavior will literally
make
put
you
you
in that position.
Yeah, and it's rough.
You kind of it's like you're building a defense mechanism or whatever, and then when you get out of that, it's like a battlefield. When you date the next person, you're kind of just like putting these walls up that you've learned from that toxic person, and you know the healthy person is looking at you like you're toxic, and it's really, it is you, but it's also like it's what you've learned and what you've endured. And
yeah, I've definitely had to unlearn my toxic behaviors. For
Yeah,
sure.
no, I've been there.
And that's a huge one, is the controlling
I
part.
still do. I mean, there's things that I still do, and I have to catch myself and be like, yep, you're right. I do that. And I have to fix, you know, my stuff or whatever. Like sometimes I'm good at communicating, but I'm also like, I'm very blunt and I will hurt your feelings. And I know what I want kind of person. And if I'm not getting what I want, I'm going to say it to you. And it doesn't always come out in the nicest way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
is that always a bad thing though? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, it's not always a bad thing. It just means I know exactly what I want, and I'm just that type of person. And if I'm not getting what I want, then I'm going to state it. For sure. So I had that one on my list too. And another important one that I have on here is being difficult to rely on. And that's really important to anyone. I mean, to me, it is. I need to know that I can trust you, and you know that you're doing what you're saying you're going to do. Otherwise, you know, I'm a do it myself kind of person, anyways. But also, if you're gonna tell this person, you know, you're doing this job or whatever for them, you're helping them, and then you don't relay that action or whatever you're doing, then you're letting them down. And if someone's doing that to you or whatever, you need to openly communicate with them that, hey, that's not good or whatever. But if they're continuously doing it after you've already laid that boundary down and told them that it's affecting you, then that's the red flag.
That's causing constant worry too.
Yeah. It makes me anxious to not know how my life is going and, you know, who I can rely on and stuff like that. But
and at that point it's getting mentally, and
yeah,
that's a whole different story.
Mm-hmm.
But that all in one is no.
Yeah, for sure.
Immature.
Yeah.
Irresponsible.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of goes with what you just said, but
yeah, no,
still falls in there.
In the green flags. So an alternative to that is, you know, being self-reflective and being self-responsible, like being responsible for yourself is a green flag. But you can be if you're not responsible for your actions and for your words and for like what you do or whatever in your relationships, then it's a huge red flag. And, you know, if someone's doing that to you, obviously. But yeah, be aware of yourself. And vice versa. Be aware of what that person's doing to you, because it affects your health. And
I mean, at some point you literally pick up on others.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Like you literally pick up on their
vibe, their actions.
The actions. There we go. Actions.
It's okay.
I don't know why it was so hard for me to find that word, but you literally at some point start to pick up on the other's actions.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're picking up, like, if you're seeing all these red flags, you're eventually going to start to do these, like, start to do them also.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it's not somebody's normal reaction to leave right away. Like, you know, we are all human, and I'm the type of person that likes to see the good in people, and I will, oh my God, it's terrible. Like, I will see, it's very bad. Like, and I know more people that stay in toxic relationships than they do leave them. It takes a really, really strong person to do that. And, you know, and you also, I mean, it's not even just that you have to be strong to do it. There's people that believe that they'll never be strong enough to do it. But as far as your mind, it's really all you have to be. Yeah, you just get comfortable in it. And like what I was going to say is, it's your mind. You really just got to, like, it's mind over matter. Like, you got to tell yourself you can do this no matter what position it puts you in. What's even coming to mind right now when I even think of this is watch Made. Like, literally, go watch Made on Netflix if you have not yet.
The new series or the new show that just came out on Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
That is a I literally bawled my eyes out on the first episode.
Yeah.
So many people can relate to that for sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've not had the, the whole like kid experience of being a single mom or anything, but
yeah,
the abusive and the holy crap.
Yeah, you can relate to it in different ways. You don't have to be a mom to understand that, you just feel stuck.
Like, even with her family.
Yeah.
That was, you can relate to a lot of things in there without being a single parent.
Yeah.
That was a
or just even know someone that it could relate to or whatever. But like, and just to even understand and relate to that person, maybe you're not going through that scenario, but maybe someone else is. But it's a really good show if you guys haven't, looked into that or watched it or whatever. But that's even what's crossing my mind when I'm talking about these red flags, really. I mean, some other things are crossing my mind, but we won't go there. So another one is making you feel insecure. Your relationships, no matter like what type of relationship it is or whatever, they should not be making you feel like self-doubt. And that goes back into, personal growth and making you feel good about yourself and supportive and stuff. Examples of this or whatever, it kind of just depends on what type of friendship it is or type of relationship, I mean. But, I've had friends like tear me down and try to say something that makes you feel bad about yourself. I've had boys in my life, girls in my life that have tried to say things in my life about, what I'm doing to make me feel self-doubt about myself. And that's obviously a huge red flag. Is there anything else that you want to share in red flags?
No. I mean, I would like to touch on, you brought up friends, and there was something on that said, like something about friendship behaviors, maybe? Is that what it said?
Friends and family, but it was mainly, I didn't bring that one up. It's mainly like if you're not, if you're kind of weird about like I don't really know how to word it, but it has on here weary. If you're, you kind of don't want them to be around your friends or family. You don't feel, well, when we looked up that, like, what did it elaborate on? What did it say?
Feeling or showing caution about possible dangers or problems.
Yeah, like you don't really want they don't really want the person that they're around or whatever to be around their friends or family. They're cautious about that. That's a huge red flag.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. I think if I'm going to be with you, I need to know everything.
Yeah. I mean, in general, transparency, but also, like your friends and your family know you the most. And if you're kind of like hiding them away from, your other friend or your partner or whatever, then it's kind of like, what are you hiding? And it's a huge red flag. But I know where you're trying to go with this, but none of those were on there. But so basically she wants to talk about friends, touch base on that. Like we've talked about, family and partners and stuff like that, but friends can be toxic to you. You can be single and you can have toxic relationships with your friends.
Yeah, for sure. And I also think it's huge to realize that not all friends are
your friends.
Yeah, for sure. Not all friends are your friends, and some friendships are basically not meant to last. I mean, not all of you are going to be on the same
wavelength. You outgrow each other, and that is sure. Okay.
I'm at a point in my life now where I have a kid on the way. I'm already a stepmom. I'm married at this point, and I have some friends that still do like partying a lot, going out. I mean, and that's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but there's also, I would say, a time for that.
Yeah.
And I've had to cut off a lot of friendships just because of that. I'm just in a different place in my life, and that's fine.
There's still healthy ways that you can drink and have fun or whatever. I mean, there's babysitters, but I mean, there's also a point where it becomes unhealthy, and you're at a point in your life where right now it's not even in your life to do that. Like it doesn't fit.
Yeah, not at all.
To do that on a regular basis. So
basically, it's fine to realize that some friendships are just not
Yeah.
That's not it.
Everybody, it's normal to outgrow people. Everybody, grows in different ways. And, you could have a lot of friends that don't have any children, and, that you're obviously going to outgrow them because they don't understand what you're going through. And, there's other people out there that fit into your new category of your life. I've had toxic friends too, or whatever, like trying to control what I do and my time, and, focus on yourself first in every single relationship, because if you do not and you pour yourself into another person, you're taking pieces of yourself, and then at the end of the day you have nothing. And I don't know if that even makes sense, but if you're not giving enough to yourself, then you're going to be left with nothing, is basically what I'm getting at.
Very good point.
Family relationships is really important too. I think that it's huge. I hate saying back in the day, but back in the day, it was a huge thing for families to, you're like, oh, they're family. Like, even if they're treating you wrong, it's like, oh, they're family. That's your mom, that's your dad. You got to respect them. And yeah, you do have to respect them, but they also need to respect you and your boundaries and your needs and wants. And I think that that's what it was back then. It was more common for it's just like, they get to say and do whatever they want, and that's not okay. And that goes back into, be there for yourself and pour into yourself first.
I think it's also hard just to learn to not pass on the toxic behaviors that your family did.
Yeah.
To others.
That's all you knew. Like, that's what you kind of like grew up with and are around every day and stuff like that. And it kind of just comes out.
I think I'm not sure if we mentioned this in an episode before, but just something that like I can relate to now that I'm older. My family literally yelled at everything. It doesn't matter if you're having a conversation with someone right here. Like, it always escalated into yelling.
Yeah.
And my first thing that comes to my mind if I'm arguing with someone is just to start yelling.
No, same. Me too.
And I've had to like literally look at the situation like, okay, I don't need to be yelling over this. Like, it's just making it worse. Mm-hmm. So I've had to like learn that, and I learned it from them.
Yeah. No, and I catch myself. I won't say that it's a constant thing for me or whatever. It used to be like an automatic thing, and I'm not saying that it doesn't still happen. And I catch myself sometimes mid argument, and I'm like, why are you yelling? Or sometimes the person will be like, why are you yelling? I'm like, oh shit, I'm yelling. Like,
yeah, I do that all the time.
And then I'll tone it down or whatever. And that obviously becomes, that goes into the self-awareness or whatever, like, be aware of what your family has taught you or your friends or your whatever. But like, mainly like we learn from our families, it all starts with, who raised you and what you've been around and stuff like that. And, that comes out in your arguments and your, how you handle things, communication, again, that goes into that.
There was absolutely like none of that.
Yeah.
I can't say that there was one time that I can remember my family communicating.
Mm-hmm.
It was that bad. I'm pretty sure even on, like, this still goes into like communication, but I don't even remember a time where all of my family got together at once.
Like, even on holidays?
Even on holidays. Like, there was none of that. So I think now, like, I have that, and I'm like, why? Like, what?
Yeah. I think
even now, I'm literally, I turned 25 this month, and I still, I mean, I obviously don't have, like, I don't talk to my family like that, but
yeah,
it blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have that with, like, us, the girls, Jessica.
Yeah.
And it's normal to me now, but I also had to learn to do that.
I'm used to that. Like, my family did do that no matter what the problems were or whatever. Now, I'm not saying like we were perfect and whatever, but that's why I even said the whole like toxic thing or whatever, where you would think like, okay, so that's your grandma. Like, but she just said something crazy to you or whatever, and it's disrespectful or whatever, but just because she's your family, you have to tolerate it, is kind of like how I was raised. And I'm not
I was
I'm
also
not saying
raised that way.
specifically my grandma or anything. I'm just saying like
No, like in general, yeah. I was also taught that, like, growing up, you had to take whatever they handed you.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older,
no, I'm a strong believer
will not take
you
it.
build your own family. Like, I think that
yeah,
100%, I've built my own family. And I used to do that as a child too. Like, I don't believe that family is just blood. I don't think it stops there. And I don't think you should be limited to those people. And I think that if they are unhealthy to you, that you could cut them out, because it does affect your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays it is more well known and taught about mental health, and hopefully that keeps on growing, because back then it was not a thing. And I don't think that, that old-timey bullcrap with whatever hand is dealt to you is what you get.
That is not true.
That's not how it should be. And I think that, your friends could be your family, your blended family could be your family. You can build it all yourself. And I think that puts you in a more healthier situation. But I used to do that as a kid too. My friends were my family to me. Like, I wasn't as close to my mom and my brother and all that. And I would, build my own family with my friends.
Yeah. I mean, that's what
we do now.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. That's what I've did now.
Yeah. And
I'm super thankful for that.
Yeah. I think it's also kind of funny too. I don't know if I even mentioned this, but in the last one or not, but like my family, I think it's kind of funny now, like me and you, and just in general, like our family that we've created as our blended family and stuff like that, and came together and kind of like vowed to our kids that this is what we're doing, and making a commitment every Sunday and every day of their lives that we are a family. I think it's funny that now my family, even like my mom reached out to my dad recently and was like, let's get together for the holidays. So not everybody has to bounce around. And it's like, okay, so now we're 26 or I'm 26 years old. And now you guys want to kind of like co-parent.
Yeah, right.
But, and I mentioned that to my dad, and he thought that was kind of funny, because it was hectic growing up, but things are different now. And I mean, that's why we're even doing this. We want to be a part of this change and this difference and influence, and hopefully we can help you, see things differently. And, I know that everything is different with everybody. What do you got going on?
I don't know what that
was. But yeah, so
I don't think there's really anything else I want to add on that.
Yeah. No. Well,
I mean, there is some things in there, but that's gonna be more towards our next episode.
Yeah, we have, obviously more things coming on in the future. We're talking about communication next time. And again, we want you guys to, send in your questions or any stories and stuff like that, and we'll talk about it at the end of every episode. But we thank you for listening and tuning in to all of our episodes. We really appreciate it, and we will talk to you next time.